I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a detailed look at the NOMATIC Navigator tech organizer, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up so we can keep helping you find the right gear. Let's dive in. So the shell on this one here is a nylon shell, and it comes with a water-resistant carbonate coating, which is kind of unclear from NOMATIC what that actually is. So we did some, quick Googling to try and figure it out. Basically, it's weatherproof. So I, poured some water on this, and it just kind of rolled right off. It did soak in a little bit, but over time it evaporated pretty quickly. So it's in still solid shape. I mean, this thing is like a brick basically of a tech pouch. So it's really great if you like to have that extra structure. It reminds me a lot of like a headphones case or something like that. So it will keep your gear pretty protected on the inside, but it is still flexible. So if you do need to get it inside a smaller part of your bag, you do have a little bit of extra room for like crushability depending on how packed out it is. So for me right now, I've got every pocket has everything in it. So I'll get into that in a second, but starting with everything on the outside here, we have these tape seams with zoom zippers. So my main qualm with this tech pouch itself is how difficult it is to use these zippers. They're just pretty, I mean, it's not difficult, right? It's a zipper, but it's a little bit sticky. So you can, I don't know if you can like hear it. It sounds very secure. And it just kind of catches around these corners here. So it took a little bit of getting used to. It wasn't something where I can just like unzip really quick and like get my hands in there. And that's kind of by nature of the actual shape of it itself. But if you're the kind of person who, will unzip it, open it up, leave it, and then like leave it next to you closed and then open it and grab whatever you want, then that's totally great. For me, I like to keep things a little bit more closed, and that made it tough. So the one thing that they did add, which I really do like, is this back, almost like hand strap. So this acts as support when you're zipping and unzipping. So you can see it's kind of two-handed if I'm trying to do it without it. But if I stick my hand in the back there, you can carry it this way if you want to. I mean, there's a carry handle here too, obviously. But there's this, which feels super secure on my hand. I mean, there's a little bit of stretching over the course of testing here. You can see it doesn't lay completely flat, but it is great. Still feels super secure. And this is what I used to unzip. So it's like one fluid motion. It's really great. I mean, it's kind of annoying that I would have to stick my hand in here pretty much any time, but I got used to it. So I tested this one here for 2 weeks, and by the end of the 2 weeks, it just kind of became second nature that I would like pick it up, slide my hand under, unzip, open, whatever, and then close it right back up again. I promise I won't make you watch me zip and unzip this for like 20 minutes. So that's kind of this basic outside here. It's fairly simple. Like I said, it has a fair amount of structure here without being so structured that you can't fit it into smaller places in your bag. So looking at the inside, when you flip it open, this is the first thing that you'll see. So there are 3 pockets here. It's a mesh pocket that's coated. So it's not fully, it's like has a mesh design. You can kind of see it on my fingers. It has a mesh design, but it's coated in plastic, so they are, closed pockets. So I kept smaller gear in here mostly, just because it was kind of like it was kind of weird because with the shape of the outside of this, it was good for keeping bulky items like these. I have AirPods here, and then I have my mouse here, and it was good for keeping, especially a mouse, right? Because it kind of follows that curvature. So that was sort of handy. But on the other side of things, I didn't really feel like they were good for holding really anything else, right? So based off of what I needed, I had a pocket for everything, but your mileage is definitely going to vary based off of what you carry every single day. So you can, I mean, if I were to like stack these two, it's like a little too much. you know, it closes, but that bulk is gonna start to get in the way. And then when you do close it up, I swear I'm not making open to close it so much. But when you do close it, then it gets a little bit bulky, right? Stuff will start to interact with each other. So I kept it pretty basic on this side, just anything that was a little bit on the bulkier side. And then this pocket here is the same mesh. And then this is great. It's just a flat pocket. So this is good for really like cash or travel documents or a card or two. You know, I've got, for example, like if you were to stick a credit card in here, that fits great in there. But again, kind of varies based off of what you need. I didn't find myself using this pocket super often just because when these pockets or these elastic loops are packed out, it was really hard to get in and out of here easily. So you kind of have to like shove it open, pull it taut, and then get access to your cash, whatever, and then it's good. But if you were to take out these loops or unpack these loops here, it's a lot easier. You can just kind of quickly get in there and grab stuff. So I didn't find this pocket super useful. It's great if you just need to keep cash on you if you're going to a cafe or something, but overall, not my favorite pocket to use. And then these 3 loops here are great. I have a charging cable for my laptop, and this fits in here totally fine. The mesh is super stretchy. You can see there's a little bit of stretch over the course of the 2 weeks and a little bit of bend that's just kind of become permanent. But overall, it's still in really good shape. So these are Hypalon pulls that just add a little bit of extra grip, especially when you're putting in thicker cables. So, you know, it's kind of hard to see with my hands, but you can pull this and use it for tension and then get them in perfectly fine. So that was really great. I thought that was a really nice touch, especially because I did end up using this to transport my charging cable so often. And then on this side here, I have a charging brick for my phone and then the charging brick for my actual computer. So this is just sort of like a bucket. If you wanted to stick other stuff in here, you could, but it kind of runs in that same thing where it's a bucket so that these cables can slot in nicely, so that this can be flat, so that that can just slot into this front part, and then it closes very nicely. So the more you bulk this out, the more you're gonna have trouble getting everything to fit in very nicely. I was able to stick a few things in here, like I needed to throw my car keys in here really quick, and I just unzipped it really quick, stuck it in there, and it fit within this little space here. So there's a little bit of room to play with it, but overall, whatever you have in here is mostly gonna be what you have in here. And then these mesh pockets have a little bit of elastic at the top, and that's fairly stretchy, but it has stayed pretty secure over the course of testing. So even when I had this smaller charging brick in here, it didn't fall out or anything. And then the last thing are these 2 pen loops on either side. So I usually just carry 1 pen, but if you have a pen and you know, like an iPad stylus or something like that, this is a great spot for that. But for the most part, I just use the 1. But it's nice to have the 2, especially because this is like almost wasted space since it is that bucket. They really utilize that well. So I do like that. But overall, it was great. I mean, my biggest qualm with it being the zipper itself was hard to use just very quickly. I did get used to it, and it did get a little bit smoother over the course of testing, I will say. But in general, it's still a little bit tougher to use. And for me, this pouch was a little bit too structured for what I was using on a day-to-day basis, but I'm okay with a tech pouch that's a little bit more flexible. So if structure is something that's really important to you, then this is gonna be a great option for that. So there you have it, the NOMATIC Navigator Tech Organizer. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.